really intimidating when you have a beloved song like Defying Gravity, which is arguably one of the most famous in Broadway history, and tackle it and say, we're going to break it up 3, 4, 5 times. But I was really excited by the prospect. When I first read the script, I cried at the end of part 1 because I could feel the power, and I knew that I was going to have to match that emotion with the movie that we're making.
The early conversations about Defying Gravity were immediately right off the bat about taking such a beloved song and elevating it from the arrangements that you have in the original Broadway version, which is a pit orchestra, and scaling it up for the cinematic scope that was required by the footage and that was part of John Chu's vision.
I think what John led me to realize is that what we have to do is we have to be incredibly attentive to the story moments and the character moments. And so then it all became about just making sure that everything we did was exactly in the right place and there was the right tone and the right musical idea. It's about deciding. I think that's one of the things that John is very good at is, okay, what's the important thing here?
What I loved about the structure of the film and the way that John Chu and Myron put it together editorially was these dynamics, these highs and lows. So by splitting it into 2, we could go so much, A, you could go so much deeper into the characters and learn so much more, but B, from a pure sound mixing point of view, it allowed us to have tremendous dynamics.
Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
What I knew about Defying Gravity is that it is an absolutely huge emotional moment for both of these actors. And they're going to go from very, very soft performances to probably the highest SPLs a human voice can go to.
Gravity really starts with Glinda's line, "I hope you're happy." And as soon as we heard that beat, the first time we watched it with an audience, the whole place just tensed up, with excitement to finally hear this epic piece.
When you hear it start, you're ready for it. The audience is waiting for this song. And it was so powerful to be able to prolong that moment in between songs to really give this its due.
Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
I treat the dialogue and the vocals as one. I don't think of, it's time for the song, now I'll slide over into the music section of the console. I actually have the console built so that I have the vocals and the dialogue sitting right in front of me all the time, the music to my left.
Our approach was to be really bold in the emotional storytelling and let the performances sink in and drive how to construct this song. And so to hold on Cynthia so long and let her live vocals take us into the song and to feel her power and her urgency to take back what has been stolen from her and use that performance to be my guide to first get us into that song.
I think we had to keep in mind that Gravity was our endpoint, and that affected how we mixed the entire movie leading up to it, in that we had to hold something back to allow this to be the apex sonically and emotionally of the film.
I'd sooner die defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
You've got these moments of pure power and just unbridled full spectrum audio happening between the sound effects and the music and the song and the vocals. And then you get these beautiful, delicate places where you can get a little contrast and get some air and real sensitivity to the environment. we had a really big moment here, and then John kind of comes in and says, like, wait a minute, this moment isn't big. We don't know if the magic is working. We don't really know how powerful she is, so it can't be. It's got to be a question here whether it actually did anything or not.
What I love about this moment, of course, is, again, we break down the song again for this big dramatic moment where we're completing the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Sweet Oz.
It starts out very soft and wispy, little delicate details of the dust coming off of it and all that kind of stuff. But as it rises and as it kind of comes towards her, there's a nice handoff because all of a sudden the sound effects bring in this subsonic where you start to feel the power that this has, that she's gaining up until the moment she grabs it.
The broom, the hat, the cape, all these are coming together. And at the same time, it's this really powerful emotional moment where they are saying goodbye to each other.
We applied a separate boom to each actor, and that meant that that boom could be absolutely on the edge of frame. And Alice Brooks, our DP, and her operators are absolutely supporting that. They're happy for there to be zero margin of error. I don't want to just hear their dialogue. I want to hear their breaths. I want to hear the tiny little intonations as their voices break. I want to capture it all.
Come with me. Think of what we could do together.
Unlimited. Together we're unlimited.
There's a connective acoustic harmony to their voices that's unique. And you put that big orchestra on top of it, and it was heaven.
If we work in tandem, there's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I, defying gravity. With you and I, defying gravity. They'll never bring us down.
We never knew it was going to sound like that. Their voices just work. Something happens when they sing together where everyone's hair stands up on the back of their necks, and something very, very magical is happening on the movie set.
John Chu often talked about quiet power, the moments where Elphaba summons the broom, earlier in the film in the Ozdust when she puts on the hat, and even when she puts on the cape that Glinda gives her. Those are, in a way, even though they're profound and compelling and deeply emotional, they are moments of quiet power. They're power that are within Elphaba as a character.
So much of Wicked in general is about these looks and glances and being bold with the silence and the pace and slowing things down. And I've always been just really attracted to what the eyes are doing and getting inside the character as much as possible. And when you have Cynthia and Ari just giving everything to it, you're just like, I don't want to cut away.
The cape, I think we ended up approaching as its own character, especially as it literally grew. This moment introduces it as a character sonically.
It's just a powerful, beautiful moment. The music is just being perfectly supplemented, I think, here by the sound effects. It's a very rich sound.
segueing out of practical sound effects and design into this musical moment where she sees herself as a little girl without it being noticeable to the audience. I think it was just really beautifully done.
That kind of felt obviously right to me. Once we found the right tune, that kind of arrangement with the choir, I've always loved human voices, a very good shorthand for straight to my heart at least.
Someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly.
Anything to do with reverb, from whether it's a vocal or a dialogue, is you can never pre-establish that until you put all the sound effects in. I learned that many, many years ago. Don't worry about pre-dubbing stuff like that, because the minute sound effects come in, everything goes out the window, you start again. And I never wanted it to be obvious. I didn't want the reverbs to sound like an album reverb ever, because I think you lose the cinematic connection the minute you do that.
Both Cynthia and Ariana are technical masters of their instruments. I mean, there's really nothing they can't do. They use it tastefully in the right way for the scene and for the character. And this is Elphaba's moment where she's all out. This is it.
What was wonderful about it wasn't just the volume. It was the way she presented that volume without feeling like she was at her end stop. And the vocal was absolutely raw and full of emotion. It's a perfect vocal. It had everything. And I think that's why the audience have connected with this vocal. It was just something very special that conveyed everything that Wicked Part 1 had been building up to in that one moment.